I'm Peter Loshak. It's Friday, and so now we finally have a line on the Chargers-Steelers game. We're going to talk about this game with regular SBR contributor Jordan Sharp. Jordan, thanks for being with us.
It's going well, Pete. Thanks for having me.
Now this game, I really want to get your opinion because the lines came out, and I'm kind of thinking about going big on this game in a certain way. I'll tell you why. Pittsburgh is a 7.5-point home favorite, and obviously that reflects the fact that Roethlisberger is back. And, a lot of times when a big star player comes back, it's not necessarily a great team. A lot of times the line overreacts. But when you also have a team that has a very strong defense, as Pittsburgh does, then, sometimes that is mitigated, and they do tend to be, in my experience, a good bet. And, of course, they're playing the Chargers, and I won't even need to get into it. The Chargers are in shambles. Their offensive line is terrible, and now they have more injuries on the offensive line. They can't run the ball. Phillip Rivers is having repeated bad games. Against lesser defenses at home, they only scored 13 a game. Now they're going on the road against the best defense in the NFL. So you look at all this, and you got to think that Pittsburgh minus 7.5 is the way you want to be leaning, but it does feel like a trap and that the public's going to be all over it and get burned. But then when I think about taking Pittsburgh on a teaser, I'm thinking, is there any way Pittsburgh loses this game? I just cannot see it. What do you think? You think Pittsburgh on a teaser is a lock?
Yeah, I mean, obviously depending on what else you tease it with, but
right.
Yes, I agree. I think teasing down Pittsburgh is a good way to go. I'll tell you what, with the straight spread, though, I think I can warrant you doing this. I can see that there are some books, obviously, that still have the number at 7.5, where others are sitting it up closer to 9. Mm-hmm. If you want to feel safe about it, if you want to feel good about it, I would suggest buying a half point, making it an even 7 points, and then I could see you laying it with Pittsburgh. That's really the only way I could see a bet on this spread as it currently stands. Now, if we get closer to game time and the line settles out a little bit more with something else a little more intriguing to your teaser, you might want to wade in on something like that. But other than maybe buying a half point, getting the Pittsburgh at minus 7, I don't see much value in this line.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we see situations like this all the time in the NFL where there's one team that just looks like they have no chance, and then they wind up at least getting a cover. I mean, is there any reason for us to expect that the Chargers will be competitive in this game and keep it within a touchdown?
I think they will. I think you can't look at the Pittsburgh Steelers right now as they currently stand, especially with Ben Roethlisberger just coming back. He's obviously still going to be a little banged up. We obviously see Ben Roethlisberger play in these kind of situations. He normally plays pretty well, and he is at home, which is good. However, there's no way you can look at Pittsburgh as a lock in this game, especially at the 7.5 number. I do think that at least the Chargers have the ability to give them a game. Their defense is okay. Their offense, when it's playing well, is good, but it hasn't played well basically all season. So it's not a lot, but I would say that if you can get Pittsburgh at an even 7 points, I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, that might be good. It's just the Chargers' offensive line already wasn't getting it done, and now I'm reading that they have more injuries on the offensive line. It's just going to be a complete patchwork, and they didn't have a running game even before those injuries. So I'm not sure yet. So all right, so if you had to choose one, would you take Pittsburgh minus 7.5, Pittsburgh minus 7, or Pittsburgh in a teaser?
I'd tease Pittsburgh. I think that's your safest bet. Even getting them at 7 points, I think, is kind of a gamble. You're right. This does smell a little bit like a trap game. So if you tease them down, if you can get them down to maybe a half a point or a point and a half, I'd feel a lot better about it.
I think that's what I'm going to do. If I get burned, hey, I'll take the loss. I think that's a good play. Thanks so much, Jordan Sharp. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you again next week.